Hi all, Graham here, and here is a little bit of a scoop. Today I spoke with Andy from Gripping Beast. We talk about all things Saga, and in particular we talk about the upcoming Saga Pageant. Some minor comms problems, so I had to cut it around a little bit, but it's worked out just fine, and it's a great video. Please enjoy. Good evening, Andy. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks, Graham. And you?
I'm really well. Listen, thank you for coming onto the channel today. I appreciate it, and I know that obviously Gripping Beast have done loads and loads for Saga, so it'll be great just to speak to you and get your perspective on a few bits and bobs of things that are happening. So yeah, great to have you on board. And so let me ask you the very first question then. So obviously Melly, my first one was 2014. In fact, my only one I ever played in was 2014. And I think there was one the year before. So can you tell me?
Was that Cardiff?
Was Cardiff? Yeah, yeah.
No, that was the first.
Was it?
Yeah, that was the first official one. We might have had small ones at Biggs Towers.
Or, I mean, there were like 30, 35 people there. It was a whopper, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Great venue.
It was good.
It was a good weekend. So can you tell me, or tell us, where did the link between Gripping Beast and Studio Tomahawks, where did that all start, and what's the history?
Well, we've known Alex Bouchel, who's the founder of Studio Tomahawk, who are a French company, for quite a while, and mostly through playing Warhammer Fantasy Battle and then Warhammer Ancient Battles. So we got a track record, and he came over to a one of the big weekends at Lenton at Bugman's that we used to organise. We used to have, well, Rob Broom put them on, and he used to pack out the Bugman's Hall with people playing Ancient Battles and whatever. And we had, we used to run campaign weekends where we'd have about 100 people on occasion. Yeah, I know, it was so much work. But anyway, Alex was a fixture at those. And we were chatting in the bar, and he said, "Oh, I've been developing the skirmish rules. Would you like to have a look?" We said, "Yeah, of course, yeah." You know, thinking not another home set of rules. And then, so we got them. This was must have been 2019. It might have been 2010. We're quite a while ago now.
2010. So
yeah.
2009 or 2010.
Then. Yeah, 9 or 10. And we got them back to the workshop, and you know, we sat there, and Alex said, "Oh, have you tried them?" And we went, "Oh yeah." And then we actually tried them, and we thought, "Oh, this is quite good fun." And then it went from, "Oh, should we just have another quick game after work?" to let's have one at lunchtime as well. And then if we get up really early, we could probably cram one in before we start work as well.
So you liked it then?
Yeah, God, we were just obsessed. And we started playtesting them, and Alex had some friends in France that were doing it as well. And it just snowballed from there. And so once they were in a decent state, we started taking them around shows, and we did a whole year of going to shows. And this was in the days when we were at least a show a month, often 2 shows a month, running the demo games. And I couldn't believe it. Every single person who played it was raving about it. And we would get email after email saying, "When's it coming out? When's it coming out? When's it coming out?" And in the end, we said to Alex, "You've got to release this." And he said, "Oh, that's good, because I've just sent it to the printers." and so it went from there. I mean, it was very much a labour of love when it started. Alex did so much work on it, absolutely unbelievable. Yeah. And but he just had the French version, if you see what I mean, and we did the English language version.
So you translated it then?
Yeah, well, sort of. Alex's English is exceptionally good, and miles better than my crappy French. So but he would send the manuscript over, I'd run through it and then send it back to him, and then he would go from there. But we published the English language versions, and Studio Tomahawk did the French. And after a while, we started saying to Alex, "This is ridiculous. We can't keep it in stock. We're selling millions, and you're not getting any of this. You're just surviving on selling a handful of French versions." So we had a big conference, the Paris Accord, and where Alex and his business partner Fred, who does all the graphic design for the company.
Fred Matthew, isn't it? Fred Matthew.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Great guy. We thrashed it out, and they decided to take all the production of the book back in hand. So they now are responsible for. Alex has always been writing it, and driving the rule set along with Fred. But now they do everything, including all the translations and all that sort of stuff. And I provide pictures where I can, and then they organise to get it printed, and then we have all the UK ones. So we distribute the English language.
I see you, Andy. I remember at Salute when Crusades came out and the queues around the block. Do you remember?
Oh yeah, we got such a telling off for that.
Yeah, that was incredible. I was queuing as well. Was it with everybody? And version 1, I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
They were amazing times.
It was ridiculous. We got such a telling off because our queue went over the front of 2 or 3 other traders.
Well, so, was it? But you see, you did well. Grawl Melly then. So you've been sort of supporting Grawl Melly, certainly in the UK, and sponsoring it, and Europe, across seas as well. So
yeah, we do all the product support for the tournament circuit. Alex does some from France, but mostly it's us. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. And you've been doing that since day dot, really.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, well, we make the official figures, although when you come to one of our events, I won't crush them underfoot if they're not Gripping Beast figures. Yeah. The only thing I get a bit arsy about are the dice, because a lot of people bring homemade ones, which I fully understand, but some people have knockoff ones, which are not. It's not nice, really, because you're denying the creator of the game, Alex, his fair whack.
I mean, I've seen some 3D ones that are coming out, and so that's a fair comment. I understand that.
Also, you can't guarantee they're going to roll properly as well. Not that I don't think anybody deliberately, sets out to have weighted dice or whatever on everybody.
Well, to be fair, if you go to a casino and you play cards, the cards come in a bound pack, don't they? When you're playing Pontoon,
that's right, yeah.
And I suppose it's no different to that, really.
No, not really. So that's the only thing I do get a little bit stroppy about. I mean, and so long as your rulers and everything match up to everybody else's rulers, doesn't really matter. But it's the dice that are the touchy thing, I think. But it's not. And that's mostly driven by feedback I've had from players around the globe. So. We support 2 or 3 events a month around the world.
You do, I see your prizes,
Mirko, who from Stronghold, who are the German translators and publishers of the German version of Saga. Right. He supports quite an active German circuit as well. They're very big on regular events in Germany.
We'll talk about that in a bit. So that's interesting. So the first Grawl Melee was 2000. I thought it was the second bit. So 2014 in Cardiff.
Yeah, Chris Churchill won it. Yeah,
he did. I do remember.
Yeah.
I did okay that weekend. I could have done better, but I did okay, and it was a good fun weekend. So it was played there for a few years, wasn't it? How many years did you go back to Cardiff?
No, we only went the once.
Did you?
They moved venues. They moved venues to their lovely big store, which they've now moved out of again. So I can't remember where it went after that, but it's mostly been at well, we've had a couple in Nottingham, we've had a couple in Derby, and we've had several in Reading, which has been the
Yeah,
yeah,
Warfare. Now I know
yeah,
that they used to play them at Manchester,
yeah.
and they used to play Friday night, which was optional, but you got points for it,
Mm.
and Saturday night, and Sunday. I mean, I can't remember. I mean, it was an immense amount of games they used to play. I mean, they must have been absolutely.
Oh, I know.
Did you go to any of those events at all, or did you see them?
I didn't. Other people from here went to a few. The BritCon one is this weekend. There's quite a few people playing at BritCon this weekend.
Where's BritCon?
I think it's Nottingham this year. It used to be
Nottingham, yeah.
Manchester. Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
But we're so busy. We can't get to the shows, let alone any other event. It's ridiculous. So
Yeah, so the last few years,
hmm,
I mean, I'm a member at Reading War Games,
hmm.
and it's been run at Warfare.
Yeah,
So
that's right. Yeah, yeah.
last 2, 3 years,
2 or 3 years. Yeah.
astride COVID probably is the best way to
Yes,
describe.
that's right. Yes, yes, yeah, yeah.
So
The COVID has messed up my memory for how long things have been going and when the last thing was.
yeah,
So yeah.
So tell me about the events at Warfare. Obviously, you have a stall at Warfare. You always come to all
Yeah,
those shows.
We love Warfare. It's our last show of the year,
Mm.
and it's always great fun. And we've followed it around all the different venues in the last few years, and it's been really good. The only problem with uh, the show now for Saga is the fact that it kind of gets lost. It's difficult to the Saga Grand Melees have always been quite good fun and involve a lot of shouting and hurrahing and spot prizes that you have to leap up into your chair and claim and all that sort of stuff. You can't really do that when you're surrounded by other war
Mm.
gamers playing very serious games. It doesn't go down well. So this year we've moved it to Cirencester, which is not traditionally the home of wargaming, but some friends of ours got a really, really nice venue.
So where is Cirencester? Where
Oh,
is that?
imagine Swindon. Now
Yeah.
imagine a posh Swindon, and that's Cirencester.
So Cirencester is in the southwest of England, on
Yeah.
the sort of English Welsh borders. Would that be about right?
Well, no, it's more towards London than that, but it's yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. So I mean, yeah, it was at Warfare, and I know that last year, being a member of Reading, I know that we lost the venue which used to go to the Rivermead Centre.
Yeah, that's right.
It's
Yeah.
been knocked down, and they've lost the Bowls Hall, which is where a lot of the competition playing was held.
Mm.
So last year no, 2 years ago they played it at Ascot, and
That's
this year
right.
they've moved it to Farnborough.
Yeah.
And at Farnborough, the Ascot one, interestingly, it was kind of what you were talking about. They had their own room.
Mm. There was a funny show, that one. I mean, it was very well attended, considering it was almost the first show after the lockdown went, and I thought it was really well done.
Yeah.
But it was a difficult one for events, I think.
It was,
So
but it was
yeah,
that. But then they went to Farnborough
yeah,
at the International Centre, which is what you're talking about, and that was in a big hall, so
yeah,
a
that's right.
big
Yeah,
open space where there were lots of tables, and as you say, there was Saga, and then there was lots
yeah,
of other people in and
yeah,
around you, and
yeah.
yeah, so
Mm.
you were lost, and I know they were, the competition point of view is getting bigger there as well. So
Yes, that's right. I mean, it's a great venue, and we love it as traders, and we still are running Saw Point event at the show,
yeah,
and that's fine. That's a bit more sedate, but it's not. It's not. I mean, there's nothing wrong with the way Saw Point or any other game is run as a tournament. It's just that for Saga, because it can get quite competitive, we like to leaven the loaf with a bit of fun and games as for the less competitive players, and make it more of an event. And that's just so much easier to do when you have total control over the venue.
So the venue's at Cirencester. So
Big Battles, it's called.
Big Battles. So how many tables do they have there?
They have huge, great tables. I mean, it's brilliant for big mass battle games, but we're getting 32 players, I think, in the venue, which is a reasonable size. Not as big as one would hope, but it's since it's the first time we've gone there, that's absolutely fine.
So there's plenty.
There's plenty of space still, for people to lounge about and all the rest of it.
You're not crammed in.
No.
I mean, if you, I mean, it was sometimes they do get a little tight. You're almost elbow to elbow with people. So, that's good. And I assume there's facilities there. There's a lounge, as a bar, or as
there's a lounge
restaurant.
area. There's no bar, but there's so many eateries in the surrounding area, and it's good for people to get out for a little walk at lunchtime. It can get quite intense otherwise, but there's constant tea and coffee and biscuits and all that sort of stuff, and even talk of donuts, although they told me not to mention that. So.
Donuts, jam donuts, donuts, or just plain?
No, jam, I think.
Jam. Ooh, raspberry or strawberry?
It's a deal breaker.
It's detail for me. It's really important.
I think we'll wait and see on that one.
Okay. To be advised. Okay. So I know that the whole weekend it's been called a Saga Pageant.
That's correct. Yes.
So it's not just Grand Melee. You're doing as an Ironman event, being run by Kevin.
Demo guy, Rich Keenan.
Rich Keenan. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
He's running the Ironman, which I'm going to play in on both days, which I'm super looking forward to.
Excellent. It's a great event. Yeah.
And also, have you got the paint guy coming as well?
Pirate Rich. Rich will be there. Yeah, he'll be answering questions, doing a little bit of live painting, but he's also there with his camera, really, so he can put some stuff on YouTube and all that sort of stuff as well.
Oh, good. Oh, that'd be interesting to see, because I've watched his painting videos. They are excellent.
They are good, aren't they? Yeah.
Very, very good. And so you said there's 32 tables. So how many are there for Grand Melee, and how many are there for the Ironman?
At the moment, we've maxed out the Ironman at 10 people a day. If it gets larger than 10, then demo guy might need some extra assistance. It's not that he can't cope with it. It's just there's a lot of running around, and if 2 or 3 people have got rules questions at the same time.
I've seen what he does, and I've run an event at Reading as well, and I know exactly what he's talking about. So yeah.
So, and then the rest at the moment are for the Grand Melee. We were thinking about having a magic event as well, and just maybe a possibility of having a few games of Age of Magic going on as well. Saga Age of Magic, because that's incredibly popular at the moment, absolutely flying out. So there's some of that, but I want to wait until the BritCon event this weekend is over and done with, and see, because I know a lot of people are going to book in their Grand Melee place after they paid for BritCon, which is this weekend.
Do you follow some of the other events? For instance, Adepticon over in America. They run a big tournament, but they run. I'm doing this from memory. I know they have an Age of Magic day. They have a themed days.
Yes, that's right. Yes, yeah, which is quite good fun. The American conventions are massive things in terms of they start at breakfast and they don't finish till they go to bed, type events. So they have a little bit more, and they got a little bit more room and stuff like that. We do send them prize support as well, and we've helped them with their tournament packs and stuff in the past. But they know what they're doing. Those guys, they're very good. So
no, I've seen, as you say, I've seen sort of, you see their itinerary, and one day they're doing one thing, and the next thing that I mean, the idea of taking 2 or 3 armies to a whole weekend.
Yeah. But then if you're traveling hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of miles, you want to get the most out of it, don't you? And they go for 3 or 4 days, or 4 or 5 days.
But then some people, they go and they don't play, and they might do Age of Magic on the Friday, and then on the Saturday they do Age of Melee, or whether they're themed Hannibal and Alexander. That's an interesting question. I saw Rog did a thing the other day on. He had a talk about playing across the books and Age of Melee. What's your feelings on that then?
I've not seen Rog. That's Saga Thursday. Yeah. Excellent series. Really brilliant. Big fan of him and Monty. Yeah. Really nice guy as well. I haven't seen that one yet. I've got a whole stack of videos to catch up on, but there are 2 answers to that. There's the official answer, which is that each supplement is its own unique universe and is balanced within the supplement. So, all the Age of Alexander factions are designed for playing against other Age of Alexander factions. This is one of the things that we learned fairly early on when we were releasing with version 1, Raven's Shadow, Northern Fury, V&B. Every time you add a new thing, the amount of playtesting goes up immensely, exponentially. So it's just impossible to do. So Studio Tomahawk took the decision, quite rightly, to make each supplement its own thing. So if you're playing Age of Invasions, then the balance is with other Age of Invasions forces. So that's the official answer. Of course, like all wargamers, we want to play our Vikings versus Hannibal, and and all that sort of stuff. And there's nothing to stop you doing that. The rules in version 2 are such that you can do that. Obviously, I wouldn't advise playing your Age of Magic versus.
Interesting you say that.
But you could do.
Well, they were talking about that, and Rog and Monty were talking about that, as I say, on the latest podcast, and said they felt that the Age of Magic were weaker or less competitive than some of the more traditional 5 books.
That's interesting.
But Age of Magic veers towards 8-point games, whereas most people are playing 6-point games. Also, another point. The balancing thing is interesting. Ruses, they appeared in Age of Hannibal and Age of Alexander, but they're not used in competitions. No. And I do wonder, certainly with Hannibal, maybe some of the factions are not as strong without the use of ruses, because that was integral, whereas you haven't got ruses in any of the first 3 books, Crusades, Invasions, Vikings. I don't know.
So there's a balance between making it in book and then opening the events up so that more people can come. I mean, with the Grand Melee, there's no single book restriction or anything like that. Just because you wouldn't get the numbers. It's such a diverse community. With having said that, a lot of people have got every single warband. I mean, I don't know how they do it, but we do have customers and friends who've got one of everything. But people do have their favourites and stuff, and so long as everybody's sensible, then it works fine.
That's fair enough.
But officially, if you do come across a weirdness, then that's because you're playing out of context, so to speak. So
true. Yeah. So the actual format of the weekend for Grand Melee, I've seen the job pack that Mark and Andy have produced, and it's excellent. And on my channel, I'm actually going through the scenarios. I played scenario 4 last week. Any comments about those at all? The scenarios? No.
The excuse me. The guys who did the pack, Mark Birch and Andy Lyon, took advice from several other people that organise tournaments and events around the country, and they've come up with a good set of scenarios that include a couple of ones that aren't in any of the books and are sort of slightly different, you know, the way they play out and things. But it's nice to have to ring the changes, so long as there's nothing in there that if you turn up with a cavalry army, you know, you're destined to lose. Or
my take on it is you'll have some that will suit your faction and there'll be some that don't. Having played them, I can see that as well. So
oh yes, definitely. When we used to run events here, we would deliberately have asymmetrical scenarios, and so half the players would be defenders and half the players would be attackers, and it might be skewed totally in the defenders' favor or the attackers' favor, but it was all about how you did compared to everybody else who was playing a defender, or who, you know, everybody who was the attacker, just to get some variety and some brain teasers into it. So
one thing they've done is they've created scenarios from the Book of Battles using the card system, and some of the scenarios are quite different. And I've seen other competitions and they use the standard set, so some of the scenarios are a little unusual, which is a good thing, because, you know, as you so rightly say, you want it to be different, and you want it to be challenging as well. So they've been interesting to play as well.
Yeah. Oh, good.
I mean,
I have every confidence that come the day, people will go, well, that was a good game, and that's the most important thing.
Well, that's what you want, isn't it? You want people to come back. So numbers wise, so you say Iron Man is now
it's full for the minute. Yeah, we're just trying to negotiate some more space, but it's full for the minute.
And how are you doing for Grand Melee?
We're about 2/3 full. I'd really like it to sell out though. So if you haven't got your ticket, please do get your ticket as soon as possible. So whatever happens with the venue will be full, because I have a waiting list of, I think it's 9 at the last count, people who want to come to the Iron Man. So, you know, if and they've said they can come given a day's notice. So I might have to do that.
Don't you think that's great? The Iron Man is well, I mean, his product is fantastic, as I say, and his enthusiasm is great. And I stole his ideas and ran a Iron Man, which is, you know, it's the biggest compliment I can give him, really. And I mean, maybe the Iron Man is a great way to introduce new players into the hobby and into Saga in general. I think
it is a very good technique, but it's also quite good fun for old hands, because you get to play a different warband every round against a different opponent every round, and it's a challenge for experienced players as well.
I think it's quite hard, but it's great fun because of the format he runs and because of the scenario he's playing, which is basically massacre points, and it over the day. It's not a question of turtling. You can't turtle. You have to attack. So the style of game is just great fun.
Yes, that's entirely the point. So
and I love it. I'm really pleased with doing that, and I'm excited for that.
Oh, excellent! Well done, Rich, as well. That's great.
Fair plays to him. I mean, really good.
Unfortunately, he's just moved into the realm of professional granddad now, so he's got less time on his hands.
I saw something about that on Facebook.
So because he used to be up and down the country, you know, almost every weekend, but he just can't do it anymore, which is a shame.
So to book, my understanding is you go on the Gripping Peace website. There's a link in there, and that's where you book it. Can you? What are the costs?
Do you know? I can't remember.
Let me help Andy here a little bit. Here's where you book on the Gripping Beast website. You follow it down and you get to the 2 items. Grand Melee is £35. Add to basket there. It's a 2-day event, and the Iron Man is 2 separate 1-day standalone events, and they're £18 each.
When you go, and if the particular thing you want is sold out, then send a message, because it really helps us to know you know, and we
The
can
demand.
contact. Yeah, and we can contact you if we're going to suddenly release some more tickets. You know, it's frustrating if somebody's registered an interest and then misses out on the tickets. So it's a good idea to get in touch.
Next question then. So,
Yeah.
I mean, there are loads of Saga tournaments. Have you heard of the Saga World Cup that's happening in Germany?
Oh, yeah.
You have any dealings with that at all?
Yeah, well, Mirko, the guy who's running it, is our stockist in Germany. Organised the Saga World Cup. It was in the UK before COVID.
Yes,
and
it was London, wasn't it?
Yeah, really good event. As part of, I can't remember the name of the overarching thing, but I've never seen so many players in my entire life. It was rammed.
What country won it? Who won it? I'm not testing you.
You are, because I've completely forgotten.
I don't know.
I'm going to say Germany because they're the hosts this time, although I think it might have been the Americans.
Okay, so obviously I'm aware that you've got obviously other ranges. You've got the fantastic front rank figures.
Yeah.
Are you tempted to go into any other? Obviously, Saga is your thing. Have you looked at Sharp Practice or Muskets and Tomahawks, another studio? Have you looked at those?
We do forces for both those games. Muskets and Tomahawk, although it's a Studio Tomahawk, Muskets and Tomahawk is a Studio Tomahawk game.
Yeah.
It's actually the UK version is done via North Star.
Oh, okay.
Because we were just so busy with Saga, we said to Alex, we can't do this. And Nick had a really good range at the time, so he took that on. I have fond memories of playing Musket and Tomahawk, although I haven't played it for quite a while now. So
I play it. The version 2 is actually much improved.
Oh, is it? Oh,
yeah, it is much. It's much improved. Is it suited to a competition game? Maybe
Probably
not. Probably not. No, it's a fun game though. Okay.
No, well, that's the most important thing. I mean, Saga started as a fun game, not a competition game. And I wish people would remember that. So
that's really important.
Yeah.
That's really important. Okay. Well, listen, Andy, it's been great talking to you. I'll add on those bits and pieces that that the pricings and all those bits, and hopefully we'll get the numbers and we'll have a great event. And you'll be there for the weekend anyway.
Oh yeah, no, I'm hosting the whole thing, so you'll be mightily sick and tired of me come Sunday evening.
Yeah, so, I'm looking forward to it, and I'm sure with Gripping Beast pushing it along, if we can get the community behind it, we can then get Saga to step up again. Because I mean, there's loads of things coming. Age of Chivalry, Age of Caesar. These things are all on the knockings. Yeah. So
if you want to schedule another chat in a couple of weeks or whatever to talk about those things, I'll get the latest from Studio Tomahawk and we'll give it a go.
Oh, brilliant. Okay, looking forward to that. Yeah. Listen, Andy, thank you very much. And
no, my pleasure.
We'll speak again.
Always lovely to see you, Graham.
Hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. Really informative. Interviewed Andy. I found him very open and approachable. As he said, if you've got any questions about Saga Pageant, get in touch with Gripping Beast. I'm sure they'll answer it. Anyway, please like what you saw, share with like-minded, take care, and see you all on the next one.